Welcome to my video. I own a BV350. I'm also a do-it-yourselfer. But when I found out that it took upwards of $250 for two tools to take the belt off and the transmission cover, I was not happy with that. So what I did was I went to work and I made a tool for the clutch removal. This would be the tool right here. It's relatively the same exact model as they sell on the video in the catalogs and on the internet. It does exactly the same thing. It's just a little bit of a different variation in shape. But I thought not everybody has a lathe and a mill to make that part. So what I did was I came up with an idea on how to make a part with things such as a hacksaw, a drill, 13/32 drill bit, a 17/32 drill bit, and a 1/4 20 tap. Also what you would need is this. This is 3/16 by 1 inch stock that you can buy from any Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, what have you. They come in 3-foot lengths. I did this with 1 3-foot lengths, and I made both of my tools, both the clutch tool and the front pulley variator tool. So what we have here is also, if you will have to get some bolts. These are 3-inch by 1/4 inch bolts. Basically what I did was I took a regular bolt and I cut the head of it off, and then it made 2 pins such as this one here to go into the clutch holes that lock down the clutch. So I've got a couple of cap screws. You can use hex, some nuts, 2 cut off bolts. Then I have, for my variator tool, I have 2 cut off bolts and a nut and a couple of nuts that go to the center of it. I will explain that when I build these. So what you want to do is you want to have take your hacksaw and you cut 4 pieces 3 inches long exactly. Well, exactly as you can. So after you cut the 4 3-inch pieces out of the bar, you will have enough left over to make a 6-inch piece of the bar, and that will leave you with an 18-inch piece of the bar right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 of these 3-inch pieces, and from a 1/4 inch from the end to the center line of the hole, which is where you'll put a center punch hole, you'll drill a 13/32 hole and then tap a 1/4 inch 1/4 by 20 NPT tap, or not NPT, 1/4 by 20 tap through these 2 holes, both of them. So you've got 2 of them like this that have 1/4 inch tapped holes in them, this one and this one. Then you have a 17/64 hole, which is slightly bigger than a 1/4 inch, and you put those also a 1/4 of an inch from each side of the end. On the 6-inch bar, I go about 3/8 of an inch on this one. You'll have a 1/4 20 tapped hole on this end, and then a 17/64 hole on this end. On the large bar, you have a 1/4 20 tapped hole about 3/8 from the end, and another 17/64 hole over here. Now we are going to assemble the clutch tool. You have the 2 bars with the 1/4 20 tapped holes in them. You take one of the bolts with the heads cut off and you put it in and screw it all the way down. Then you take the plate with the 17/64 hole and lay that on top of there and put a nut on there and bring it down, but don't lock it in place. Now you have the one. Take the other plate with the 1/4 20 holes and put the bolt into the plate and screw it all the way in. Put the other plate on top just like that, and put the nut on just like the other one. Now you have 2 pieces like this. Now we're going to take these cap screws. You can use a nut or a regular bolt with a hex head if you like, and you put the 17/64 hole on top of the tapped hole. This is the tapped hole, this is the 17/64 hole, and you put a cap screw in here, or bolt. By the way, this is a 1/4 with a 1/2 inch working length on the bolt. Now we go over here and we do the same thing on the other side. And now we have an adjustable clutch holding tool that can be used for any scooter that requires this setup. And it will adjust in and out. Now you can use a U-bolt for some of the smaller models, but this would be quite a U-bolt to make the clutch holding tool for the BV350. Now we're going to assemble the outer pulley variator holding tool. We have these two long pieces of material. Now, it's easy if you drill and tap these two holes and drill this hole, then you could take and put the screw through the two plates to hold it in position, and then you would be able to drill through to the other hole that's in here, which will line them up about the same. Or you could just measure it and then drill the 17/64 hole. First, what we're going to do is we're going to take these two little pins right here. Now you'll notice that one is longer than the other. I've had the bolt heads cut off of them, and I made one longer than the other because this will cause an offset when one is laying on top of the other, and they will not be even because of the difference in the thickness of the material. So first thing we do is we take the longer one and we screw it in all the way in, just like we did with the clutch tool, and we put a nut on the end because we're going to lock that down, but not, well, we'll lock it down right now. So we lock this one down and it's positioned where it belongs. Now we take the long 18-inch bar and we put the shorter one in and we screw it all the way in, and then we put the nut on the end and we lock it down. Now we're going to have the bolts facing down, and we're going to lay the 6-inch piece on top of this piece. We're going to put a bolt through here so that these can be adjustable to go into the two holes. Now if you look at it from the side, you can see that now that the longer bolt back here makes them relatively even to each other for when you place these into the pulley. Now I'm going to take a 1/4 locking, nylon locking nut, and I put that on there, and then I'm going to tighten it all the way up and then back it off a little bit. That way I won't have a lot of slop in. This won't be loose and sloppy, but I will be able to adjust this for when I place this into the outer pulley for the variator. That's relatively simple and straightforward. It's a tool that really works. I have 2 videos, actually 3 videos of me using this. 2 of them are for the variator, and one of them is just removing the clutch nut off of the variator, or the transmission cover of the scooter. If you do not have the abilities to make one of these parts, but you do have the ability to change your own variator belt, then for a fraction of the cost I could probably be talked into making one of these for you, a set of tools. You're probably looking at about 25% of the cost of a tool if you buy it, if I make it. I would prefer that you made it. So if you do want me to make one, you have to contact me by becoming a Modern Vespa member and sending me a private message. You will not be able to contact me in any other way. You will have to become a member of Modern Vespa and then send me a private message. I go by the handle Breaking Wind. So thank you for watching my video. To adjust this, I'm putting this all the way in. and tightening up these two screws. And that locks it in place. Extra effort. And now we got it loose. Now we can take the cover off. Okay. So now we're going to pull the driven pulley. These 1/4 inch cut-off bolts will fit right in here. We'll get the wrench out. Let the wrench go down to the ground. And then we're going to break it free. And there we go. Now we're going to torque it. Put it on the opposite side. Set it at 93. And then we're done.